Hi everyone and welcome to the 13th episode of Locker Room Talks, where we discuss some interesting NHL news and events. And today we are going to discuss Erik Karlsson trade and Vladimir Tarasenko signing with Ottawa Senators. So we are going to start off with Erik Karlsson trade, and oh my goodness, what is Kyle Dubas doing? That's absolutely insane. This trade is one of the most unbelievable trades that I've ever witnessed, because I should say that if we look at every player that was included in this trade, if we look at every team that was included in this trade, there is no losers in this trade, in my opinion, and I will explain it. So we have three teams: Penguins, Sharks, and Canadiens. Penguins receives Erik Karlsson from San Jose Sharks, Rem Pitlick from Canadiens, Dylan Hamaliuk from Sharks, and third round pick in 2026 from Sharks. I don't know who is Dylan Hamaliuk, to be honest with you, and I don't know what you can do with this third round pick, because this is gonna be like in 2026, so we are not going to discuss it. But Karlsson and Pitlick, that's great. That's really great. So Sharks receiving first round pick in the next year draft from Penguins, Mikael Granlund from Penguins, Jan Rutta from Penguins, and Mike Hoffman from Montreal Canadiens. And Canadiens receives second round pick from Pittsburgh in 2025, Jeff Petrie from Pittsburgh, Casey DeSmith from Pittsburgh, and Nathan Legaire from Pittsburgh. I don't know who Nathan Legaire is, sorry, but we're gonna speak about everyone. So if we will speak about the teams, notice that every team received really a lot. If we will count players, Penguins received only two players that can play at the NHL. I mean, Dylan Hamaliuk, I don't really know who it is, and I don't really think that he can play. So Erik Karlsson and Rem Pitlick are the guys who really can play right here, right now. And Erik Karlsson is the guy who won Norris Trophy last season. That's so important. So, what Penguins gave for it? They gave two draft picks, first round and second round: Mikael Granlund, Jan Rutta, Jeff Petrie, and Casey DeSmith. So, Casey DeSmith, I just want to start with him because, DeSmith needed to rethink his career. He understood that he is a backup for Tristan Jarry, and he needed to change something in case to improve his career, in case to reboot his career, because his career was coming to an end. But as of right now, I think he can reboot it, because who you can fight in the Canadian squad for the first place as a goalie with? Because, they have Montembeault, they have Allen, but Allen is old, Montembeault is not experienced enough, so Casey DeSmith is the guy who really can save them in that position and who can really become number one as a goalie in their squad. So, in my opinion, for Casey DeSmith, this trade is good, because he changed something and he has new call in his career. Jeff Petrie, Jeff Petrie is old, and he returns to the Canadiens after a trade that happened like 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, where Jeff Petrie was traded to the Penguins from Canadiens. So he returns to his team. That's great for him, because he knows everything in here, he knows some guys in here, he has some great memories in here, so he can really bring something with him emotionally, so he can play consistently and give something to the Canadiens, because he's a good defenseman. He's not that bad, and he can help. He can help Canadiens. So Mike Hoffman from Montreal going to the Sharks, and in my opinion, Mike Hoffman is the guy who really can surprise us next season, because if we look at the Sharks' top six, we'll see a lot of spots that are unfilled. I mean, Mike Hoffman is the guy who can play in this top six, and he showed us in his best seasons. If I'm not mistaken, with Panthers he played in top six, and he can really surprise us, because if you find a right guy that can stand next to him, this may be really a disaster for everybody who's playing against the Sharks. Because in my opinion, Mike Hoffman can really surprise us. He's underrated as of right now. And last seasons of his career, he's not that good like he was in his prime, I should say. But that's only my opinion. So I think Mike Hoffman really will surprise us in the Shark squad, and that's great for him, because he needed the new call, and now he have really good opportunity to play in the top 6 once again. Jan Rutta to the Sharks. That's not that good for Jan Rutta, you can say, but I should say that that's good for Sharks, because Sharks needed that experience in terms of their defense, because Burns left. As of right now, Karlsson left. They have only one really good experienced player, Mark-Edouard Vlasic, who is not carrying anymore. So Jan Rutta, in pairing with Mark-Edouard Vlasic, can really be a castle around their own net. In my opinion, that's so good. What more can I say? Also, Mikael Granlund to the Sharks, and oh my goodness, first line of the Sharks may be unstoppable next season. Just imagine Hertl, Granlund, and Hoffman. Either or Hertl, Granlund, Barabanov, or Hertl, Couture, Barabanov, and the next line is going to be someone on the left. As a center, we have Granlund and Mike Hoffman from the right. Sharks really improved their offense by this trade, and that's so good, because Granlund can really surprise us as well as Mike Hoffman. We may see guys returning from hell, because long time ago they had great career, and as of right now they can really bring this energy once again to this league. And what about the Erik Karlsson? I think that's really interesting for him. That's a new call, because he's never played for a team that really a cup contender, because we can't count Sharks as a cup contender like in a modern era. But we should say that there is a guarantee for Erik Karlsson, and this guarantee can really help him, because if you sign, for example, a guy like 25 years old who did not achieve anything, and he had only one great season, and you sign him for a long term, for example, he has only one option: to show it right here, right now. And then if he fails, he goes away. If he improves, he stays. As of Erik Karlsson, I should say that even if he fails, he will stay, because there is no other guarantee, there is no other way. You don't need to give 2 picks, Granlund, Rutta, Deathmeat, Legale, Petrie, for this player, because if you wanted to trade those players, you could have really more. Like some great depth players, maybe some top 6 guy into the offense, but you decided to trade for Erik Karlsson. And in my opinion, Penguins will not win the Stanley Cup with him, but they will fight for it. Because if you are making from Erik Karlsson great offensive player who can really be a leader in a pairing of Chris Letang, that's gonna be a disaster for everybody, that's obvious. But what will they show in the playoffs? I don't really know. So this is the question. But in my opinion, even with the Karlsson, Pittsburgh Penguins is not going to win a cup. That's my point. So we discussed every player that were included in this trade. So I just want to discuss teams. Obviously that the Penguins really did their best, and Kyle Dubas really, really great. I'm just surprised about his job this summer. Sharks, they gave Karlsson, but they got first round pick Granlund, Rutta, and Hoffman. And as I told you, Granlund and Hoffman will really surprise us. That's, in my opinion, that's more than an even exchange for Erik Karlsson. Canadians got Petrie, Deathmeat, second round pick, and some youngster. Deathmeat can really help them cover their weak spot at in the goal. Petrie can really improve it, and second round draft pick, that's good as well. So in my opinion, there is no losers. There is just no losers. And in terms of players, and in terms of teams. That's great trade. And I know that the initiator of this trade is Kyle Dubas. So we just should thank Kyle Dubas, because this trade is really, I don't know what can be better than this trade this summer. So that's my point. Dubas is a legend. That's obvious. And as the second topic, I wanted to discuss Vladimir Tarasenko deal with the Senators. 1 year, 4 million. That's good for Tarasenko, because he will have practice for a year. He will have his money. He will play. He will enjoy it. But next season he can just say bye Senators and go find another team. This season Tarasenko will try to do his best. And in my opinion, Tarasenko will be a nominee for a Hart Trophy this season. Mark my words, guys. He will do everything to show his potential, to show himself. He will do everything to prove everybody that he costs like 8 million, 9 million. And then, when the salary cap will go higher, he will sign a deal with, like, for example, maybe even Coyotes for like 9 million. And that's gonna be his great ending of his career, because this deal for 9 million is gonna be long term, obviously. This is a good signing for Senators, but this is the signing for only 1 season. That's not that good. And in my opinion, this signing shows that Senators will not be a contender. Never. Because this signing shows that GM of Senators really cannot look at 2 years, at 3 years. How you can sign a player that says, Tarasenko said that I want 1 year deal just to go to the next deal next season, and there is no guarantee that Tarasenko will stay. There is no guarantee that Tarasenko will even play that good, but he will. That's my point. He will. So, what's the point of this deal for Senators? Because I understand the point for Vladimir Tarasenko. That's, in my opinion, that's obvious, and I told you that. But what's the point of this deal for the Senators? Can you really explain it? Because when Stars sign Duchesne for 1 year, I can understand that, because Stars are the cup contender and they really need this missing piece, and maybe Duchesne is this piece. So they added this piece. They will watch if this will work. If they win the Stanley Cup, they will resign Duchesne. That's obvious. But Senators need something more than only 1 year deal with Vladimir Tarasenko. Maybe they will trade him. That's gonna be interesting, because if they sign him, he will play like a Hart Trophy nominee for half of the season, and they will trade him then. That's maybe a point, but I don't really think that they want to trade him. So, in my opinion, Senators really failed with this signing, because Tarasenko is really great, but for 1 season you will just have this guy, you will build the team around him, and then he'll leave. So in my opinion, there is no point of signing Tarasenko for 1 year. So that's everything I wanted to discuss with y'all. Thank you for listening. Hear you soon.